Ben Carson is right. If the liberal media was as hard on Hillary Clinton as they have been on Ben Carson, she would not only be out of the race, she would be in jail. Welcome, everybody, to In the News. I'm your host, Holy Joe Rock and Roll. I've done some research on Ben Carson and the controversy regarding his book, Gifted Hands, where he says, and I quote, "I had dinner with him," referring to a general, "and the Congressional Medal winners." This is from his 1992 book, Gifted Hands. The general was General William Westmoreland, who at the time had been in command of U.S. forces in Vietnam. Further quoting, quote, "Later, I was offered a full scholarship to West Point." That is all we have in the book. Now, there's a few technical things here. Technically, while it is the same thing as a full scholarship when you go to West Point is the Army's academy, military academy for Army officers. It's a four-year program, and it may be equivalent to a scholarship, but it's not just a scholarship. You get an appointment, usually from a senator or a congressman. They're the ones who are the gatekeepers. A general can, of course, influence that decision, and maybe they are given a certain number of referees, or I don't know. I'm not sure how it was, but when I applied, that's how it was. You had to go through a congressperson, your congressperson, and apply. But obviously there's some states in the union, maybe further out west, which they don't want to go to West Point. They're not interested. So those congresspeople might have extra slots, which could be given to another general. Now, that's the quote. "Later, I was offered a full scholarship to West Point." That is the quote that is causing the fire because, again, technically, he never applied for the scholarship. He never was actually awarded an appointment, never was given an appointment to West Point. So, technically, you could say that's a lie. But it's the way Ben Carson describes it is after this meeting with the general, or maybe during this meeting with the general basically said, "Look, you're a top student. We want students like you at West Point. I can get you into West Point." Now, if it's coming from a general and he's serious about it, you know he can get you in. Okay, now, just think about it. This is 1969, 79, 89, 2000, 99, 2009. That's almost 50 years ago. And think about how affirmative action was 50 years ago. If you had qualified black people, qualified African Americans, to go to these places, all service branches were eager to get African Americans into the program. Obviously, highly qualified individuals, regardless of race, but especially wanting to get more African Americans, really at the time, really the only minority really in the country, into the military academy. So I totally believe that that's how he felt. Look, these guys were eager to have him go to the military academy. They would have gotten him the scholarship. He would have been good to go. Now, let's contrast that to Hillary Clinton, whereas in the latest Benghazi hearing, which unfortunately lasted for like 9 hours, and really no one can really go through all 9 hours of it, but it was clearly shown by the emails that Hillary Clinton considered to be personal, private emails, where she emailed her daughter and she emailed the president of Egypt, clearly stating that the attack on the Benghazi consulate was not was not provoked by the video. It was an organized terrorist attack. That is a bold-faced lie that she and her people went out on the talk shows for the next several months claiming that this was a spontaneous riot because of a video. And that is just a bold-faced lie. And after this Benghazi hearing, what did the media say for a week? They kept saying this was Hillary's best performance ever. You know, if the Republicans were trying to harm her, they made her stronger. And it's just insane that for Ben Carson to say, look, later I was offered a full scholarship to West Point, meaning, look, these people basically were handing me a scholarship. And based upon my experience with going through this program, it's totally true. I know guys that were not qualified, but because they knew the right people, they got in. And one guy, after serving his 4 years obligatory service, what did he do? He became a sail instructor. He actually went to the not the West Point. He went to the Naval Academy in Annapolis. He was a naval officer, and he became a sailboat instructor at the Naval Academy. Now think about that. The Naval Academy put you through basically their university, the Naval Academy, for 4 years. Full room and board, full tuition, everything's paid for, plus you get a stipend of about $10,000 per year. And then you serve in the Navy for 4 years. That's your obligation. And then the guy takes a job back at the Naval Academy as a sailboat instructor. Now, that's a fucking loser, in my opinion. But he had all the right connections, okay? He got in. So this claim by Ben Carson in his book, while perhaps technically not accurate, you could also argue that it technically is accurate. Now, I want to put a link to a video of the press conference that Ben Carson had where I really gained a lot of respect for Ben Carson. I still am not supporting him personally. I mean, I like the guy. I've always liked the guy. I always respected the guy. But in this encounter with the press, he almost came out badass. He almost came back, you can see him totally with a lot of energy. He was wide awake, and he got a little bit angry, and you could hear it in his voice. He was getting a little bit agitated. But I would like you to watch that video below because I think it really shows Carson fighting, and it's making him stronger. So I think he's going to go into tomorrow. Actually, it's tonight. Tonight at, I don't even know what time it is. I'm 6 hours ahead of East Coast time. So it's probably going to be 3 o'clock in the morning my time. But tonight, Tuesday, we've got the fourth GOP debate, and they've narrowed it down. It's the same people from the second debate minus Chris Christie, who's going to be in the junior debate earlier. So I will have my analysis tomorrow on that fourth GOP debate. But for now, I just want to share my thoughts about Ben Carson and say, listen, as he basically stated in the press conference, why didn't they also, he basically came after Bill, God, man, this is live, baby. It's unscripted. He basically came after the press, again, about Barack Hussein Obama. There were so many allegations and people who came out publicly saying certain things about candidate Barack Hussein Obama, including the church that he went to, what the pastor at that church was saying, certain homosexual affairs that he may have had, drug usage that he may have had, and it just got quietly swept under the rug. Quietly swept under the rug. There was no investigation. There was no questions. There was nothing. Not even talking about his birth certificate and the possibility that he was born in Kenya. I don't believe that, by the way. But I'm just saying, none of these other things were even questioned for this Barack Hussein Obama. So it's not about black and white people. It's about politics. And the fact that Ben Carson is a conservative, Christian, African-American, the press is immediately against him. They'll never be for us. They'll never be for these types of people. Never. But that's just par for the course. All right, I'm Holy Joe Rock'n'Roll. I'll see you on the next video where I will probably be doing my analysis of the fourth GOP debate. Until then, peace out.